Well, the green energy push, including the increase in prices, the rise in gasoline, have some Americans wondering whether going electric will actually save them any money at all. But there are hidden costs that the EV industry does not mention. Joining me right now is the car coach who reports, Lauren Fix. Lauren, great to have you. Thanks very much for being here. Let's go through some of those costs. What are some of the big disadvantages to owning an EV that people might not be aware of?
I think up front, you get that whole excitement of like, oh, wow, this is going to cost me nothing. There's no maintenance. But that's not true. There is actually maintenance. Anytime there's moving parts, there's going to be maintenance. And one of the biggest expenses is tires. And that's one of those things that people don't think about. Tires are very expensive for all vehicles. But when you have tires for an electric vehicle that wear out quicker, that's where you're getting into that expense. Plus, of course, you need a charging station or a place to charge if you don't have a garage. And the cost of that charger is really critical.
What is your assessment of the pricing of these vehicles right now?
Well, right now you're looking at an average of about $66,000 for an electric vehicle and about $49,000 for a gasoline-powered. So it's going to take you about 15 years to make up the difference. You know, to say I've saved the planet or I've saved on gas or whatever is your vice, and that's great. But I think people really need to start looking at the total cost, and the big expense is insurance. And you have to make sure that you have a certified electrician install your charger. That's what I was getting at. Because if you don't, what happens is your insurance company may not handle a fire that happens at your home. And we just had that happen here in this area. It's happened in a couple other areas across the country where the insurance said, we're not going to back it. You didn't have a certified electrician install. Again, that costs money. So you have to look at the total expenses, including the total charging. If you look at the average per year, people think they're saving money. You know, it's costing me $900 a year versus a gasoline-powered car at $1,200 a year. But if you look at all the additional insurance, the charging, and everything, you total that up, 15 years later, you better be still loving that car because it'll take you that long to make up the difference.
Wow. And then there's all the infrastructure around it. How do you know if you actually have the charging stations and what you need to actually ensure you can have the right charge?
Well, that is the problem. It's not the cars. The cars that are being built are fabulous, and they're cool looking, and they have great technology. It's the infrastructure. We do not have enough charging stations. Right now, there's 10,000 cars for each charging station across the country. In California, it's 22,000 cars for each charging station. So those are numbers that I didn't make up. Those are numbers that are coming from the federal government. And with that thought, that means you have to charge at home. That doesn't work for someone who doesn't own a garage or isn't in a position to put in a charging station. So without having that infrastructure in place and fast charging, you're spending a lot of time sitting in your vehicle, which, again, it's not recommended. You should charge your vehicle, get out and go do something, stay away from the charger. The fast chargers like Tesla, some of them are opening up. Ford made a very smart move and partnering in with Tesla, opening up those faster chargers to Ford products, which won't be for until next year. But still, all that is a problem. And I have a friend who reviews cars as well, and he always drops off the vehicle, and I go, well, how do you get home? Because it's in a parking lot. He goes, oh, I take an Uber. I said, so you take an Uber to get the car, charge it, and then take an Uber back? I'm like, that makes no sense. But there's no charging available where you live. So again, it's silly. I just go, wow, that costs a lot of money.
That is a big deal, though, the infrastructure. So let me bring the panel in. Lauren, I want to get your take on whether or not you would actually buy one. But Lee Carter, would you buy an electric vehicle?
You know, I've thought about it, but yeah, I've been talked out of it just now. I think there's a number of reasons not to get one. But you know, I think it sounds so great, but in reality, the practicalities of it. My brother got one and faces many of the similar issues that you're talking about. It's hard to get the electrical put into your home, and then dealing with anything that's longer than if you're taking a road trip, what do you do? So I think we're a long way away from it being a reality for me, anyway.
Adam, what about you? Would you buy an electric vehicle?
Well, I just got a car about 18 months ago, and it was decidedly not electric, so I guess the answer is no, Maria. And Lauren, actually, the one thing that I think is really interesting, is there any kind of secondary market, used electric vehicles, or is that kind of like charging? It's not ready for prime time?
Well, some of the numbers aren't well. The best cars for buying used would be like a Toyota Prius because of the fact that they go forever and people like them and you can still drive it if the electric part of it is no longer functioning. I mean, I understand about the electric charging. I mean, for some people it works and some people it's free too. I mean, if you buy a Volkswagen ID4, you get free charging. Yeah. But that may not last forever either. Yeah.
Lauren, what about you? Would you buy an electric vehicle?
No, it's just doesn't work for me. I prefer gasoline-powered vehicles.
Okay.
I just bought myself a Ford Raptor truck, so I guess not.
Nice. Sweet. Lauren, good to see you. Thanks so much.
Good to see you, too.
All right,
Thank you.
Lauren Fix joining us.